It's hard to believe that fans of the original Dead Island game have been waiting for a sequel for nearly 12 years now. But believe it or not, the development of this highly anticipated sequel started more than 9 years ago. Originally planned to be developed by Techland, the creators of the first game, Dead Island 2 was instead bounced between multiple studios over its difficult development period. That is, until Dambuster Studios took matters into their own hands in 2019 and finally delivered a finished product that we can play today. To be completely honest, we haven't played the original, so our playthrough was free of the influence of attempting to understand its similarities and comparisons. We became interested in this title after seeing a re-announcement trailer at last year's Gamescom, which seemed to promise gruesome face-to-face, in-person zombie slashing fun. Subsequent trailers made it clear that the game does not feature any of the usual survival tropes, such as hunger, thirst, the need for shelter, etc. The frenzied melee combat was the focus of those trailers, reassuring our initial belief that the game was built solely around creative methods of destroying hordes of zombies. Dead Island 2 was also on our list of the top 10 upcoming zombie games, so we couldn't wait to get our hands on it and see if it was as good as the trailer suggested. Before we dive into our review, we'd like to extend our sincere gratitude to Deep Silver for providing us with the review key. Having said that, we remain committed to providing you with our unbiased opinion of the game. We'll be discussing the aspects we appreciated and the ones we found lacking, so stay tuned for more information. If you found this review useful, remember to leave a like. And now, without further ado, let's get started. When you start playing Dead Island 2, you'll have the opportunity to select one of 6 unique characters, each with their own set of predetermined attributes. After making your choice, you'll be given a brief introduction and tutorial to learn the controls and become familiar with the user interface. The zombie apocalypse in Dead Island 2 takes place in some of the most glamorous areas of California, including Bel Air, Beverly Hills, and Hollywood Boulevard. You'll be painting the luxurious mansions of former celebrities in thick red as you travel through these locations. The most important thing to understand about the game's world design is that it is not an open-world game. Instead, you'll gradually unlock independent locations as you progress through the main storyline, which you can then fast travel between and explore while completing quests, gathering upgrade parts, and fighting off the undead. However, you'll only be allowed to roam around the specific quest area once you start the quest, which limits your exploration. Completing the main story alone will take around 14 hours, but there's an additional 5 to 7 hours of content if you want to finish all the side activities. But without spoiling anything, we'll delve into the story and its connection to the gameplay later.
You'll need it if they get past me.
Oh my God!
Open it! Come on!
Although Dead Island 2 is primarily an action horror game, it also features some RPG elements. Your playstyle will be shaped by the choices you make in terms of gaining experience, leveling up your character, and customizing your weapons. In general, you'll kill zombies, loot items, complete quests for experience and money, level up, and then find a workbench to repair and upgrade weapons, rinse and repeat. As we ventured through the game, spotting a workbench was like stumbling upon a hidden treasure. Although the weapons were relatively durable, they needed regular repairs to stay in good shape. Fortunately, they were not as fragile as the ones in The Last of Us, which had god-awful durability. Instead, they were more similar to the sturdier weapons found in Days Gone. In the end, you'll need to take care of their condition and always bring 1 or 2 extras just in case. As you make your way through the main story, you'll gradually gain access to an increasing number of weapon modifications. We found this feature to be particularly well executed, with a nicely paced progression that never felt rushed. The upgrade path for weapons is generally well designed, giving you enough time to test out your new toys and modifications before the next challenge. By the time you reach the next workbench, you'll have a better sense of what improvements you need to make to optimize your killing potential. Melee weapons were definitely our preferred tools during our playthrough. Although ranged weapons such as shotguns, rifles, and pistols are unlocked later, we ended up using them only for taking out bomb carriers and bloaters from a distance, rather than as our primary weapons of choice. They are simply not as powerful as melee options, and the ammunition they use depletes far too quickly. There are more practical alternatives to firearms, though. Shurikens, Molotov cocktails, and shock bombs are available early on and in unlimited quantities, but they have lengthy cooldowns to compensate. In terms of combat, we like that there's only one difficulty setting. Dead Island 2 isn't super easy, but not too hard either, so expect to die a few times. When you die, you have the chance to respawn from the nearest checkpoint, but any ammo you use before dying will be lost. This means that if you waste your ammo during a good attempt and die, you won't get that ammo back when you respawn. This is the game's way of recommending that you should rely on trustworthy melee weapons. To make your experience in Hell A more manageable, you can complete additional quests, earn money and experience, level up, collect parts, and upgrade your weapons before trying again. We hold a strong opinion regarding most, if not all, first-person games that incorporate melee combat. These games frequently come with specific limitations. One of the biggest challenges for players is determining the depth, distance, and reach of attacks from this perspective. Furthermore, it can be difficult to stay aware of your surroundings during intense battles, increasing the likelihood of being caught off guard. Hazards such as fire or traps may also go unnoticed, leading to a frustrating gaming experience. It is important to note that this issue is not exclusive to Dead Island 2, but is prevalent in most games that utilize first-person melee combat. Our main cause of death was the lack of proper UI feedback when being attacked by zombies. Sometimes it appeared that we were safely dodging their attacks, but in reality, we were getting hit and taking a lot of damage. The zombies do hit quite hard, and this often resulted in our untimely demise. Of course, it's also possible that we simply suck, but the lack of clear feedback certainly didn't help. That being said, the combat was actually fun and challenging. It's not just spam attack, kill a zombie, and call it a day. Where you aim and swing your weapon matters. You can be surgically precise and dismember one limb at a time if you please. There's also blocking and dodging, which, when done correctly, grant you buffs or debuffs to your foes. Combined with some relevant skills, dodge was our bread and butter survival ability. Another thing that you can and should use to your advantage is that zombies are not immune to friendly fire. So positioning yourself accordingly and letting them kill each other, with acid spit for example, can eliminate lots of threats without too much of an effort from your side. Speaking of zombies, we definitely like the variety they come in. Not only visually, which was fantastic as the game designers did an excellent job of avoiding repetition in the zombie designs, but there are also over 30 different types of zombies that behave in their unique ways. With so many variations, it's important to have a strategy for taking them down. Most require a specific approach to kill them, which you will learn quite quickly, and develop an ability to prioritize targets accordingly. There are, however, some strange AI behaviors, such as some zombies not acknowledging your presence at all, so you can safely avoid them in those cases. Maybe this is intended, we don't know, but it is definitely awkward. Also, the game's zombie spawn system felt a little wonky, as zombies would occasionally appear out of thin air. While exploring the game's environment, you may notice that certain directions appear to be free of zombies. However, even if you look away for just a few moments, you may look back and suddenly see shamblers blocking your path. Could be just our imagination, but we saw this on more than one occasion, so there is something odd about it. Dead Island 2 is made with Unreal Engine 4. The graphics, while not breathtaking, still provide some nice visuals, especially in outdoor areas during golden hour. There is HDR option for those that can take advantage of this feature, which makes these outdoor scenes during sunset even prettier. Unfortunately, there is no ray tracing option, although we don't believe that it would significantly improve the graphics enough to warrant its inclusion. The zombie animation is well executed. However, the animation of other NPCs, especially in regards to facial expressions, could use some refinement. Throughout our entire playthrough, we encountered 0 bugs that could have disrupted our gaming experience. But we did come across 1 or 2 minor graphical glitches. It was one of those blink and you'll miss it moments, although it wasn't cause for any concern in the end. All in all, the visual presentation does a good job of depicting the glamorous lifestyle of a decaying Los Angeles, one that players can easily become immersed in. This brings us to the game's most important and possibly best feature, which is undoubtedly its gore system developers' codenamed Flesh. We're not sure how they did it so seamlessly that it looks so freaking natural, but it just works. After mutilating zombies with your arsenal of weapons, the layers of tissue become exposed, all the way through internal organs and down to bones. And depending on the weapon used, the system reacts naturally. Sharp weapons such as swords or axes have the potential to make deep cuts and easily dismember zombies, drenching everything nearby in guts and blood. Blunt weapons, on the other hand, pack a lot of punch and can easily squash skull and ribs, completely rearranging their anatomy. Flames or toxic waste can dissolve clothing and soft tissue, ravaging through every layer of skin and muscle. And as morbid as it may sound, you can put this system to the test even after the zombie has died by smacking the body repeatedly, leaving nothing but a pile of unrecognizable organic mass around you. The sound effects of flesh tearing and bones breaking round out this bloodthirsty extravaganza. In general, sound and music seamlessly blend into the background, creating an immersive environment that helps the player fully engage with the game. You can also play around with a unique feature called Alexa Game Control, which allows you to use your voice to issue commands for tasks like swapping weapons, opening the map, taunting zombies, and more. But just turning it on isn't enough. You also need to take a few extra steps to configure it properly. Although it's an interesting tech, we found that it was much quicker and more convenient to use key bindings instead of voice activation. So we ultimately decided not to use this feature. We played the game on PC with mouse and keyboard as our usual preferred way of playing first-person games, but we also wanted to try DualSense controller to see what developers did with adaptive triggers and haptic feedback. Sadly, the controller cannot be used wirelessly on a PC. The only available option is to connect it via USB cable, which the game recognizes as a generic controller with no special functionality. Needless to say, we finished our playthrough using true and tried mouse and keyboard combo. When it comes to multiplayer options, the game allows up to 3 players to play together in co-op mode. There is definitely the additional allure of embarking on this zombie-infested journey with friends, where the stakes are higher and the chaos is amplified. But we decided to tackle this game solo for our review.
This is the end.
Trust me, it's worse out there.
As we mentioned at the beginning of the video, it's time to discuss the most important aspect of the main story. Rest assured, we won't reveal any details about it. While the gore system may be the game's most impressive feature, the writing, including the story and its execution, is its weakest. It's unclear whether the writers intended to approach the story in a humorous or serious way because it's neither. The story is forgettable at best, with most of the plot feeling like a filler content that's only there to pad out the game's runtime. It's hard to feel invested in the world or the characters when the story feels like a jumbled mess of cliches and tropes. It doesn't help that mediocre voice acting only makes things worse. The one-liners uttered by characters are cringeworthy and annoying, often leaving us wishing they would simply shut up and let us exterminate zombies in peace. With all the nitty-gritty details out of the way, let's tackle the elephant in the room. Is Dead Island 2 a fun game? And our answer to this question is a resounding yes, but only if the story isn't a make-or-break factor for you. To be fair, Dead Island 2 never made grandiose promises of being a story-rich or narrative-driven game, so our expectations in terms of its storytelling were as low as a zombie's IQ. The real selling point of this game is its thrilling combat system and gruesome features, which were the driving forces behind our positive gaming experience. If you choose to forgo the story and concentrate solely on honing your skills and perfecting your weapon choices to vanquish the undead, you'll find yourself having a bloody good time. And this wraps up our Dead Island 2 review. If you found it helpful, don't forget to click the like button. You don't have to subscribe, but if you do, we'll feel more alive than a zombie who just stumbled upon a fresh brain. If you've already played the game, please share your thoughts in the comment section below and tell us what you liked about it or what you didn't. Thank you for watching, and until next time, have a great day and a ton of fun.